The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. 16 more Delta variant cases have been detected in the Philippines, including some of the country's first local cases. To give us more updates on this, we have Jen Calimon reporting live from Malabon. Good afternoon, Jen. Let's start with a breakdown of these new Delta cases, Delta variant cases rather. How many are classified as local and from which regions are they?
Yes, Charles, the DOH has confirmed the discovery of 16 cases of the Delta variant in the country. So 11 of these cases are local cases. 2 are from NCR, 1 from Region 3, 2 from Region 6, and 6 from Region 10. The remaining 5 cases are returning OFWs with travel history from UK, UAE, Qatar, and the other 2 are still being verified. According to the agency, 15 out of the 16 cases have already recovered, while 1 has died after being rushed to the hospital last June 18. So according to the initial reports, Charles, no link among these cases has been known so far, and so the DOH is still conducting its own investigation on how the local cases have been infected with the Delta variant. Charles?
All right, let's just clarify the terminology here, Jen. When we say local cases, does this mean that these cases are born out of local transmission of the variant? And could you tell us the difference between local and community transmission for the benefit of everybody listening?
Yes, Charles. Local transmission is if a local case has infected another local case. Community transmission, on the other hand, is when an infection has spread and a large number of cases in a particular area has been affected by the variants, and the origin cannot be traced anymore. So right now, Charles, it is unclear if we have a local transmission or community transmission of the Delta variant. For again, the DOH is still investigating if there is a linkage of one region to another. So what the DOH has clearly said is that we have 11 local cases. Charles?
You mentioned that the authorities are actually doing contact tracing now. How are contact tracing efforts going on? And is it possible that more people have actually been exposed to the Delta variant and haven't been aware?
Well, Charles, the DOH is calling the attention of the LGUs to intensify their contact tracing and to make a back tracing to further see the intensity of the transmission of the Delta variant. So yesterday, Yusek Harris said that they have called a meeting with their regional offices to see how they can strengthen their detection efforts. But Harris said even without genome sequencing results, those close contacts of people who tested positive are already being traced. Now, Yusek Epimaco-Densing III of the DILG, on the other hand, said that they have also coordinated with the LGU's concern regarding contact tracing.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Delta variant here. Do we know what measures will be done to prevent the further spread of this variant?
Yes, Charles. Yusek Harris said that they are now activating their doors 3 and 4, which will add to the implementation of doors 1 and 2, which focus on preventing returning overseas Filipinos from leaving their country of origin by imposing travel bans and restrictions, and also to conduct screening, quarantine, and testing at ports of our country. Now, doors 3 is strengthening our PDITR strategy to immediately detect and trace COVID cases, especially variants, and door 4 is ensuring our healthcare capacity is ready for a surge for a timely COVID-19 management. Charles?
Jen, just to give us a better idea as to the numbers, how many Delta variant cases have been detected in other Asian countries like Indonesia or Singapore?
Okay, Charles, just to make a comparison, Singapore has the highest number of Delta variant in Asia with 1,052 cases. It is followed by Indonesia with 723 and Thailand with 144. In the Philippines, in our country, the Delta is still 0.49% of all the sample sequenced, and the most dominant variant still in the country is the Beta variant with 23.35%, followed by the Alpha variant with 20.52% and Theta with 3.06%. Charles?
Right. Given this new information, Jen, is the Department of Health, or at least the IATF, looking at new testing or quarantine protocols in light of these new cases?
Well, Charles Yusek Harry said that that will be part of the response. The recommendation is there might be a granular lockdown in a specific place or region, but if the Delta variant is dominant in that area, well, they might impose a stricter restriction. So let's just wait for the recommendation of the IATF in the coming days, Charles.
Right, talking about stricter restrictions, what about the border controls for inbound travelers from abroad? Are we expecting this to be beefed up as well?
Well, this is what they have been doing even before this discovery of the Delta variant in the country. So the Bureau of Quarantine and the DOTR are on high alert in enforcing stricter border control, and the LGUs are being urged to monitor the arrivals of the returning overseas Filipinos. But apart from this, Charles, the DOH is also saying that there is really a need to increase our healthcare capacity to be ready for a surge, enhance our genomic biosurveillance, strengthening the implementation of PDITR, or the Prevent, Detect, Isolate, Treat, and Reintegrate strategy. And above all, Charles, they urge everyone to have a strong compliance to the minimum public health standards and get vaccinated and complete the recommended doses as scheduled to prevent the further transmission of the Delta variant in our country. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Jen. That was Jen Calimon reporting live from Malabon. An infectious disease expert warns that the strong surge in cases can be expected in the Philippines due to possible community transmission of the Delta variant. On One News's agenda, San Lazaro Hospital's Dr. Ron Jean Solante said the highly contagious variant is the main driver of case surges observed in other countries. He says the same can be expected in the Philippines once local transmission is confirmed. Solante noted that COVID-19 vaccines are still the best protection against the threat of the variant, as this can prevent people from developing serious forms of COVID-19 infections.
Mas maraming natamaan na walang bakuna kaysa doon sa merong bakuna. Although meron ding natamaan sa may nabakunahan, pero hindi na ganoon ka-severe yung mga presentation nila. Ayan. Kaya nakikita natin ngayon, in countries where Delta variant is already one of the dominant variants, pinapabilisan nila yung vaccination rollout. Mas mabilis ang protection kasi it takes time for the vaccine to work, no? 2 weeks after the second dose. So meaning, kung nandito na yung variant ngayon tapos hindi ka mabakunahan, your protection will still be 1.5 months after giving the vaccine.
The DICT has completed encoding 40 to 50% of immunization data in its vaccine database. This was confirmed by Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere in an interview with the chiefs. Vergere said that the DICT is committed to finishing the encoding process by the end of the month. That's in order to move forward with discussions on interoperability of vaccine cards per LGU. Vergere also revealed that once done, the ICT department is looking to release digitized vaccine cards that can be accessed through smartphones.
The DICT system will give you a digitized card kung saan na meron na pong ipapasok sa cellphone, tapos kung saan kayo pupunta, ipapakita nyo na lang po. So that's the plan. And yes, we would like that unified. And this is also a means of verifying, no, yung mga nagpapakita ng kanilang vaccination card, and eventually this unified system will be implemented.
Batangas has kicked off its mass vaccination drive for residents affected by the unrest of the Taal volcano. First responders are also covered. To give us more details, we have Romel Lopez. He's now reporting live from Batangas City. Romel, good afternoon. What do you have for us?
Yes, good afternoon, Charles. The mass vaccination drive here in Batangas for evacuees and frontliners pushed through this morning. The Capitol grounds serve as a vaccination site for the province. Evacuees and frontliners, uniform personnel lined up as early as 7 a.m. in the Capitol grounds. 2,000 doses were allotted in the area to inoculate displaced residents and frontliners. But for the entire project, the DOH has allotted a total of 10,000 doses. According to DOH Calabarzon's Dr. Paula Paz Di Zongo, one of the concerns they have right now is the growing numbers of evacuees infected by COVID-19. Out of almost 9,000 individuals displaced from the towns of Agoncillo and Laurel, 8 evacuees have already tested positive for the virus. 3 are from the town of Laurel, 1 from Agoncillo, and 4 from Balayan. Imposing minimum health protocols in the evacuation sites also always remains a challenge due to the high number of evacuees. Contact tracing is another concern. To date, only 50 close contacts have been tested by authorities. The DOH is now requesting the Batangas LGU to add more evacuation sites to decongest existing temporary shelters. Charles, present in today's events are Secretary Vince Dizon and Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Dizon assured Batangueños that the government is doing its best to procure more vaccines to meet the demand and to achieve the herd immunity the soonest. Charles.
Thanks for that, and stay safe, Kabayan. That was Romel Lopez reporting live from Batangas. Malaysia will stop using China's Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine and will switch to Pfizer. The announcement came days after Thailand and Indonesia said many of their citizens would get a non-Sinovac booster shot if possible. However, Malaysia's health minister did not specify the reason for making the switch. After 16 months of closure, tourism-dependent Mauritius finally reopens borders to vaccinated tourists. Let's watch this report from Bloomberg.
Today, July the 15th, Mauritius is on its first phase of reopening its borders. And this first phase of reopening means a lot for the tourism industry, an industry which rakes in about 63.1 billion rupees in a normal year. Now, after almost 16 months of closure following the COVID-19 pandemic, now vaccinated tourists will be allowed to come in and stay for a minimum of 14 days in a COVID-free hotel. Even if you're not expecting huge numbers, that means a lot for an industry which employs almost 100,000 people.
Tourism accounts for 25% of GDP, and so it's one of the main pillars of the economy. So having absolutely no revenue from a key industry, of course, is very problematic for a country like Mauritius. We know very well that the July to September period is going to more or less be a test period. So we expect demand to more or less ramp up as from October. And this is precisely what we're seeing in terms of bookings coming in when we talk to the different private operators.
Moving from the first phase, we reach the second phase on the 1st of October, where once you land, provided you're vaccinated and your PCR test is negative on arrival, you'll be around to roam around in the Indian Ocean island. And that means a bigger boost to the economy, and that will allow the economy to kickstart after a 15% contraction last year, which is the worst performance in 40 years. I'm Kamlesh Bakori in Mauritius for Bloomberg News.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.